Hello and welcome to episode 40 of the Beks Creates podcast. My name's Beks and I'm coming to you from a finally sunny and actually quite warm Bristol, where I live with my husband Paul, our Norwegian forest cat Mufasa, and our 32-week baby boy Bump, who is getting ever bigger and almost here. So it's Thursday the 13th of April, so it's coming near to the end of the Easter holidays, but for once I don't mind, because when I go back to work next week I will only have 2 weeks left. So counting down the days now until I get on my mat leave and get to spend a bit of time at home before baby comes, and then the fun really begins. So I've managed to do loads of knitting during the Easter holidays. It's been really nice. The first week I was very, very tired and it seemed to take me a whole week to recover from work. But this week's been very relaxed, very gentle. I've done a few bits and pieces, but just had some time to potter at home, made time to put my feet up every day. Just been very relaxed. So it's been really lovely. And yeah, I've had all the knitting mojo. I've watched loads of podcasts and stuff, so I feel really inspired. And last night I didn't actually sleep very well, and I had just had loads of patterns going through my head that I wanted to have a go at, and things like that. So yeah, I've got all the creative energy at the moment, which is really nice, and actually for once the time to use it, so that's even better. Obviously the knitting time will take a hit the next 2 weeks, but then after that I should have 5 weeks of non-stop knitting, so I'm really looking forward to it and hoping I get some really nice stuff done. So I've got quite a few new whips to show you. I've got a couple of finished objects. Did I put them on here? Yes, I did. A couple of finished objects. I don't have any acquisitions, but I've got some new patterns that I'm planning on starting, and I've bought a really sort of long-term whip to show you, to kind of get your opinion on. I don't think I've ever shown it on the podcast, actually. I can't remember. I might have done in the early stages, but I'll explain it when I show you, because no point in going into it now. I hope this light stays all right. It is quite bright, but it's also cloudy, so it could change, but we will see. So let's start with finished objects. So I have finished my flax light sweater for baby. This was the first size, which I think, is it 0 to 3, I think. So sweet. I left out the garter panel on the sleeve on this one and just decided to do short sleeves because it's first size, and so that will be for the summer, hopefully. It does look quite big though, but growing room's all good, isn't it? The yarn is absolutely stunning. It's a bird street colourway, but I think it was a test skein for the colour they did for the Oxford Yarn Store, so it's probably not available, but they'll have lots in a similar style, I am sure. I just love the colour, and that was made to go with the little overalls that I showed you last time. I think this is my favourite outfit so far. It's so cute. And I'm in the process of making a hat and socks to go with this, which I'll show you later. I did think, because I've made like lots of cute outfits and you've kind of seen them in bits and pieces, that at some point I might do a little video of like the outfits together so you can see the whole thing, because I don't really know why I've kind of gone that way and made outfits, but it's just very pleasing, and lots of them are kind of mix and match, but it's just really sweet. So I will show you at some point, I think, because it'd be really nice. It's nice for me to see them all together as well. Next finished object, I forgot to show these as a work in progress last week. I had them in a project bag and I somehow missed it. So I've made some little, they're just sort of little tube socks really, because I thought there's no point in putting a heel in baby socks because he's going to wear them for like 5 minutes, isn't he? So what I did was I cast on 40 stitches and I did a 3x1 rib, so they're stretchy, so hopefully they'll just fit him for a while as his little foot grows, and they'll just get shorter in the leg. I thought when he's really tiny we can always fold over the top. but I just thought they were really sweet. This was leftover yarn from one of his rompers. Again, a sort of an unnamed Bird Street one. So these go as part of a really sweet little outfit, which I'll show you at some point. And I think I'll make some more of these socks because I think they'll be quite useful, sort of stretchy. I think I might need to do some smaller ones because I think 40 stitches is actually quite big. They could fit a toddler foot, I reckon. So I might go down to something more like 32, I think, for the next pair. But very sweet and very quick. I knit one of those in one car journey, so very quick indeed. Okay, now you've heard me planning to make this one for a while, and I told you that this was going to be my Easter weekend project, and it was. And here he is. It's Bon Bon Bunny. I put this on my Instagram and I said it is the most special Bon Bon Bunny I've ever made. It's got one of my hairs on it, sorry. I've made so many of these, I'd lost count, but because this one's for my boy, this one's the most special. So he's knit in the colourway Do You Think He Saw Us, which is one of my favourites from Bird Street. I've been really drawn to greens, particularly since I found out I was having a boy. It's not really a colour I've used tons in the past, but I am really drawn to it at the moment. And I've made him a little romper and some hats and things in this colourway, and I knew I wanted his bunny in this colour, so I asked John to dye me some up, and he really kindly did it in this new base, which is absolutely amazing. It's a 8515 extra fine merino nylon DK. And you can just tell the difference. It's so bouncy, it's quite silky, it's got a lovely drape. It was so nice to knit with. So do keep an eye out for that in their shop because it's a really, really lovely base. Yeah, but look how sweet he is. So yeah, I started knitting this. I think I actually started the evening before Good Friday. And I knit the bits kind of over the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think. Like all the ears, arms, feet, tail, which is so quick. And then on the Sunday I sat down and joined them all together, and it was just lovely. I got an Easter egg on the go and something good on the telly and had a lovely time. So he's a very precious little guy, and he's gonna live somewhere nice in the nursery and wait for his new friend. So that's Bon Bon. I am going to make, like I said last time, what's it called? Bonnie Wee Mouse, which Fran from Franny Do Makes made hers in like 5 minutes flat, in a very similar colour to I'm going to use. But I'm going to leave that for a bit because I've knit a few bonbons lately and you kind of got to make sure you don't burn the mojo out. So yes, that's the plan. So that's all the finished objects for today. So moving on to whips, I've got quite a lot, and I've got quite a lot of new ones, which is exciting. So let's start with an old one, which I've made some good progress on. So in my Moth and Found bag, which I love the most, if you're going to Wonderwall in a couple of weeks' time, do go and visit Becca and buy her gorgeous bags. They are amazing, and get in there quick because I know at the last show she did, she sold out completely quite early. So get in there. So this is the baby romper by Little French Knits. I've talked about this quite a lot already. It's so cute, and it had to be cute to keep me going, I think, because it's been a faff. So last time you saw it, I had knit just the back. So since my last episode, I have knit the front. Then I decided to block them before I joined them because I was quite nervous about doing the seaming. Seaming is not something I've done loads of. So I blocked them first so they were nice and flat because they were very rolly. And then I was really pleased that I took the decision to slip the first stitch of every row because that just gave me a nice edge to seam into. So I seamed the edges. I don't think I did too bad a job. It feels quite sturdy. I then made a bit of a boo-boo because I just assumed you had to seam the shoulders as well, which you didn't, but I'll talk about that in a second. So what I then did last night, which was quite faffy, was I picked up the stitches around the leg holes to do this rib, and it was just faffy because it wanted you to pick up quite a lot of stitches, and it was just quite fiddly, and I had to keep going, oh no, not picked up enough, need to take it back and do it again. But I got there in the end. It does seem odd to me that the buttonholes are on the front and the buttons go on the back, so the front is longer and it goes, you know, you fold it backwards. Seems quite strange to me. I would have done it the other way, but there we go. I probably won't knit this pattern again, but it's been a learning curve. Then I just need to do the same around the armholes, and then the neck. Like I said, you weren't supposed to seam these shoulders. You were supposed to do like a neckband around the front, a neckband around the back, and then little bands with buttonholes on the top there. But I don't think you really need buttons there if you got it there, because it can just go over his head. So I think I'm going to fudge that a bit and just do the neck hole in one piece. I think that would be fine. So I'm not very far off of finishing at all, and I will be glad to see the back of this one, I think. But, you know, I'm glad I stuck with it, and I've kind of probably done some techniques I would have avoided had I known. So it's good. It's good to push me out of my comfort zone. The yarn's so gorgeous. It was a Skein Queen that I got in a swap. Lots of sort of blues, purples, lilacs, whites, really pretty. And I can never read the label. I don't know if it says Born Blue or Bomb Blue, but I think it's quite an old colourway anyway, because I got it, like I said, in a swap. And it's 100% superwash merino in a high twist, so there's only 365 meters to 100 grams. So yeah, it's been a nice one to work with. I love a high twist yarn. You just get such nice stitch definition from it, and these pops of like navy and turquoise and things are just lovely. So it will be worth it in the end, but it's been a bit of a slog, that one. Okay, moving on. Sorry, you'll have to excuse me because bending down has gotten very tricky and I've got things all around my feet. This baby's done a lot of growing this week, a lot. So next one is a new whip, and one that's been in my Ravelry library for ages. It was actually a free pattern and I had to get it because it's a cardigan and it's called Dickson, which is our surname, even spelt correctly, which is very unusual. It's just this sweet little cardigan. It's got like a cable detail down the raglan on the front and back. Normally I don't do cables, but I thought it's only a little tiny bit, so it's fine, and I've actually quite enjoyed them amazingly. So I am doing the 6 to 12 month size because I'm doing this to go with one of the rompers that I've already made and shown you before. And I am using this yarn, which is Deeper by Bird Street Yarn. This was one I was given because it had a few patchy white bits on it, so I usually am lucky enough to get those, but they hardly notice, I don't mind. And this is in the DK, they're just the 75/25 merino nylon DK. Sorry, my cake's coming undone. Now, yeah, like I said, I'm doing the 6 to 12 month size, and the amounts of yarn were a little bit vague. So it said I needed 2 skeins, but I've done other 6 to 12 month cardigans in DK and I haven't needed anywhere near 2 skeins. And I've only got 1 skein of the DK, so I'm really hoping it'll be enough. But if it's not, I do have some fingering left in the same colour, which I could hold double. I think for a baby cardi, it doesn't really matter, does it? I kind of and ahed. I was like, shall I do the sleeves first? And then if I don't have enough yarn, I could just do it a bit shorter. Then you need a button band as well. So I was like, oh, shall I do the button band and the hem and the cuffs in a different colour? But I didn't fancy that. And I was like, I'm in a 9. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to risk it. I did have a look at some people's project pages on Ravelry, but they were quite hard to wade your way through because some people had done it in worsted and some people had done it in DK. Lots of people didn't say what size they were doing, and lots of people didn't say the exact amount. So there wasn't a lot to go on. There was a couple that did say that they used short of one skein of DK. So I'm just going with it and we'll see what happens. Worst comes to worst, I'm sure John will dye me another skein of this anyway. So I've gotten to the stage where I just split for the sleeves. You can see the little cables just about. Sorry, it's very tricky to see. Navy blue is a hard colour, isn't it? But they're really sweet down the front and back. Yeah, really didn't bother me. They were just like 4-stitch cables. So nothing particularly faffy, and they went in the same direction every time on each panel, so it was fine. And also I have got my special floop. I bought this quite a while back. I think it was during the pandemic, because I've always struggled a bit with the fiddliness of cables, and when I saw this I thought, oh, maybe that might help, and it does. So it's basically like, it's almost like a pipe cleaner. It's better in the packet. It's almost like a pipe cleaner, sort of a wiry bendable bit with these two tiny little, like almost like cocktail stick type needles on the end. So you can hold the stitches and you can fold it over so they don't come off. I can't remember where I got this from, I must admit. And I know when I ordered it, I had to wait ages. It was like a pre-order and it was like 2 or 3 months in the end. I know Stephen and Penelope do them. And they come from America. So I don't know how easy they are to get now, but it is a really good tool and you can kind of use it. It says on there, like, for a whole range of different purposes. So I would really recommend that if you've had trouble with sort of traditional cable needles, or, you know, just struggle with cables in general. I would definitely recommend it. It does help me. I don't know what it is. I just have a bit of a mental block. They're just fiddly. I think it's because it slows me down. And you know that I like to be a fast knitter and that I like to be productive. And I think because it's fiddly and you've got to introduce something else and drop something else and you need more hands than you've got, I think that's what puts me off. But it's fine. It's fine. I know other people are knitting cables for babies, so I will gladly let them do anything more complicated than this. So yeah, really cute little cardi. I'm enjoying that, and I think now that I've got past the sleeve separation, it shouldn't really take too long. That would just be a whiz down the body and pop the sleeves on. I was tempted to do short sleeves on it, but I've done 6 to 12 months, which will take him from sort of December to like June next year. So maybe for the spring, short sleeves. Yeah, I'll see. I'll decide when I get to it. Anyway, moving on. Ooh. My next whip is one you've seen before. It is my Advent wrap that I'm doing with my Green Lambkin Advent from 2022, which was the Merry Music Advent. Sorry, the light has changed. This is annoying. So I can't remember where I was up to last time, but I am now halfway through. So I've used up the entire first magic knot ball, which was the first 12 days. I've done 2 repeats of the pattern and I'm about to start on the second magic ball. The first 2 repeats are the ones that I sort of not struggle with, just they're just a bit dull and they're a bit I don't know, bit concentraty, if that's the word. So the double moss stitch and then this eyelet rib, you just have to look at the pattern a bit more, that's all. So the rest I've just made up nice and easy. But it's really nice. It's nice short rows, so you seem to get through one colour, and each stripe is only 10 grams, so you tend to get through each colour quite quickly. I think it's going to be a good size because, like, when it's blocked out, I think it's going to stretch quite a lot. So it's really hard to show you. but I think it will stretch out really nicely. So yeah, I don't know if I'll end up keeping that one or whether it might be a gift knit for Christmas, but might be good to get ahead of the gift knitting game this year, because I doubt if I'll have much time. So yeah, really enjoying that one, and it's nice to have some different colours. I think where I've been knitting with a palette of kind of blues and greens and, you know, baby colours and stuff like that, even though I love those colours, it's just nice to have a bit of something else thrown in, because I do like colours. Right then, this one is a new whip. Now, I mentioned last week, I've been watching a lot of back episodes of the Wool and Wishes podcast with the lovely Kirsty and Tracy. They're so inspirational if you haven't watched them before. And I saw Tracy show a picture, sorry, my picture's not very good, it's very small, of this cowl, which is called the Slip Crazy Cowl by Chit Chat Knits. And believe it or not, I've never made a bandana cowl. I can't believe I haven't. There's another picture of it there. And I just grabbed my fancy because I love what's the word? Mosaic colour work, like stitches. And I've been really enjoying using up lots of stash at the moment, so it could do that. And it's just really about playing with colour, and I think that's right up my street at the moment. So I've literally cast this on today. It has an I-cord cast on, so it did take quite a while to cast it on. By the way, this pattern was only $4, which I think is about £3. So it was really good value as well. I was really impressed with that. So I've just made a start. The colours I'm using are this one, which is Sea Glass by, Sea Foam by Lay Family Yarns. My lovely Kelly and lovely Nick. And that's just on there, 75/25 merino nylon. I did actually buy this to do something for baby, but do you know what? I just love it. So I thought, hey, I'm going to use it for this. And then my second colour is another Bird Street one. It's one of their Christmas ones. This is Season's Greetings, which is one of my favourites. Goes pleasingly with my nails today. I'm all about the pastels. And this one, I don't know if oh yeah, you can just about see, is on a stellina, so it's sparkly. And then my final one is one I've been like saving for best almost. My friends Rach and Jo bought me this last year or the year before, I lose track. And this is called, it's really cool, Princess Wannabe by Jo Knit Sew. There's her label. It's just so fun. It's like, in the scale it looked a lot more pastel-y, sort of, lilac and pink, but it's got so many like wild speckles and it's proving really fun to knit with already. So basically what the pattern advises is that you need 3 colours, one to be like a solid or tonal, and then two skeins of like variegated, striped, anything. And it says like really go wild, don't be afraid. If you don't think they look like they go together, they will work because of the way, because it's slip stitches. It's just about kind of playing with colour, and I can see myself making more of these just to play with colour and use up scraps and things. You could easily do it with loads of minis, I think. And it says on here, I'm just reading, you need about half a skein of your 2 variegated or striped, and then you only need 35 grams of your solid or tonal, so you could easily use leftovers. So I'll stop going on and show you. It's very, very new whip. So I did this I-cord cast on, which was worth doing. It took ages, but it was worth doing. And then I've only done 2 repeats of the pattern so far, but you can just about see. Sorry, it's really hard to get it to focus on such a small area. You'll see more as it progresses, but already I'm really enjoying it. It's like so fun seeing all the pops. Oh dear, it's coming off the needles. Seeing all the pops from the different yarns coming out. and how they're sort of working together. So I'm really enjoying that. I think that's just going to be a really fun knit and quite simple, quite memorizable. So it's the kind of thing I'd like lots of projects cast on like this when the baby comes, so that if I am able to just, you know, pick up something that is not going to use too much brain power, I could just, you know, knit over him while he's sleeping on me or something like that. And if I don't, that's fine. But it'd be nice to have some things ready. So yeah. And again, I might keep that if I really love it, or I might end up being a gift knit, but either way it'll be useful and just fun and stash busting. I've never been a person to have tons of stash, and then at the moment I seem to have quite a bit that I've accumulated in one way or another. So it's nice to actually use loads up. Okay, getting near the bottom of the basket. Oh, I didn't show you, I finished Paul's socks, the Magic Heel ones, but I gave them to him last weekend and he's already worn them. I think they're in the wash, so, but you saw them enough as a work in progress, so it's fine. So then I've cast on some new socks because it's always useful to have some on the needles. And these ones are for my goddaughter, Freya. It's been a long time since I knit her socks and her feet have grown a lot. And I've had this yarn for ages and always had it in mind to knit something for her. So this yarn is, it's amazing. It's Moana by Somerset Yarns, my lovely friend Tracy, who I haven't seen in a very long time. There's her label. Yeah, and it's the Moana colourway. And me and Freya, whenever Freya comes here, I say, "What do you want to watch a film on Disney Plus?" And she always says Moana. So I thought she had to have some socks out of this. So I'm doing her a magic heel as well. And I thought I'd do a nice, generous long heel so that because her feet are growing so fast, they might last a bit longer. When she was tiny, I just did her just tubes with no heels and they worked fine and she wore them loads. But yeah, her feet are much bigger now. I had to do another cardboard template of her foot because the one I had was so small. But as you can see, she's got very narrow feet, just very long. So I'll use that to measure and make sure that she's got plenty of growing room in those. But I would have thought there'll be enough for adult pair out of that as well. So I don't really need any more socks, but maybe I might, she might like it if I make a matching pair for baby actually. But I could always make a pair for her mum because she also loves hand knitted socks. So yeah, they'll just sort of tick along. I've got quite a few appointments next month, so they might be useful waiting room knitting. And then finally, final whip. There's been quite a lot of whips today. I have had cast on itis. So I think I showed you this pattern last time I was planning to use, which is the easy peasy leftover sock newborn hat. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Very cute. And with the leftovers from the little jumper I showed you earlier, I've just cast on one of those. It feels quite big, I've got to be honest. This feels bigger than newborn, and I've used the needles they suggested. So, and normally my knitting's tight, so normally using the suggested needles would make it much smaller, but I don't know, he'll wear it at some point, it's really not a problem. So it's nice to do a hat with no rib for a change, just little rolled edge, and that won't take me long to finish. That'll probably be a one sitting kind of project. So yes, that's all the whips. So future plans. Now I'm very lucky, like I said earlier, I get given quite a lot of Bird Street sort of tonals that have not been dyed perfectly, sort of have little patches of white occasionally. Never bothers me. So I thought I should find some patterns to try and use some of it up because I have got quite a lot. So I saw this pattern and I just thought it looked so cute and so comfortable. So it's these little baby joggers. I just thought they look so like soft and comfy. The pattern is by Tot Toppers, which is designed by Kate Oates. all the details up there. I think it was $7 this pattern, and it goes from premature to 4 years, so I can probably make him quite a few pairs. The first pair I'm planning to make is with the navy, because I've got a jumper I made a while back that this would go really nicely with. But I do love that green and that grey, and I love the grey ones on here, so I'll probably make him those in a range of sizes in the different colours. And they should, I think it's only the biggest size that I like, the 4-year-old, that I wouldn't get out of one skein, so that would be a really good way to bust the stash on those. And then finally, I was looking through my like favorited patterns on Ravelry, and I came across this one, which I don't even remember favoriting, but I really like it. It's not printed for some reason. It's only printed page 4, 5 and 6 of the pattern, but that does seem to be all the instructions. So my printer was being very funny this morning. But this is called the Enola Tee by Jennifer Shields Toland, JST Knitwear. So it's just kind of like quite a square boxy tee. I know I won't be able to wear it for a little while, but by the time I've finished it, it might be summer and I'll be a different shape and might be able to wear it. And it might just be useful for kind of slinging on with shorts or something. So I'm just trying to decide on the colour. And again, I really wanted to use stash. So it takes 2 skeins. So I've got these 2, which it might be scuba, this colour, I'm not entirely sure. I think it might be a colour that goes wrong quite often because I've got quite a lot of these. And this one's one of my old favourites, which is tart. I've actually got a Whitmore sweater in this colour. I have already got a summer, I made the Yume sweater, or the Yume tee, by, who's it by? Isabel Kramer, I think. So I've got one of those in that colour. So I'm slightly more tempted to use the pink. I think they both suit me. But I shall decide. And yeah, it's nice to have a bit of mojo to make a garment for myself. I know I showed some garments last week that I've got on the needles, which I do need to get finished. But I think that'll be more autumn, winter time that I'll finish those. So yeah, I think it'd just be fun. I don't know if I can show pictures here. It's got kind of this rib sort of detail on the shoulder and up the side, like a bit like a faux seam. It's knit bottom up, but obviously there's no sleeves to knit, so I think it'd be quite quick. So I am quite keen to get that one on the needles as well. So I'm going to finish some of these baby knits and then hopefully cast one of those on if I like it. Who knows, I might knit it in both colours. We shall see. Now, finally, I said I was going to show you a long-standing whip. So it's in this lovely basket, which I bought from Primark, believe it or not. There might be some crackling here, some crinkling, because I've got lots of mini things. So I can't remember if I've shown this before or not. I can't even remember when I started it. Sorry, the packaging is now reflecting right on my face and giving me funny lighting. So I started a triangulum blanket, which is a pattern by, I think it's Ellie Jones. And these are in the colourways that Claire and John did last year. They did a yarn club, which was it Top of the Pops, I think? So it's like each month was inspired by like 80s, 90s, noughties music. And I know they'd planned to do a year, but they stopped after 8 months. So my kind of calculations for the size of it won't be the same anymore, but it's fine. I think so. I was debating whether, you know, what to do with it. Do I carry on? Do I frog it? Do I like cut my losses with these yarns and do something else with the rest of them? But I think I've come too far to go back now. So these first 2 rows were the first month, January's. And I love those colours. I think they were Club Tropicana, if I remember rightly. And I've done loads, so I don't really want to give up now. And then February's were these pinky ones, and obviously I've not finished that. So it's quite big, it's quite wide. It's almost sort of a single bed size. And then Claire kind of gave me the rest of the yarns for my birthday, so I do have them all ready to go. So I think this is the next one, yeah. So I've got O Vienna, that would be the next month, and then I don't know which order they go in, I can't remember. So we've got these ones which are called Do What That Thing. Then there's Wannabe. Those are lush, I love those. These yarns are just too nice not to use. Actually, I think these might have been the third one. Those are Don't Stop Believing. Really zingy. I'll Be There For You, which are really pretty. And Bittersweet Symphony. So I think I will finish it, but it's going to be a very, very, very long-term knit, because it's one of those as well, kind of, you get the mojo to do it for a while and you might work on it quite solidly for a little while, and then you get fed up and you put it down for months on end. I don't think I've worked on that possibly in a year. I don't know. I have no idea. But, you know, I don't, so I saw somebody say on a podcast the other day, blankets kind of don't count. They're just kind of always there, aren't they? And you kind of work on them, and it's kind of a nice surprise when they get finished. So I'm not too worried about, you know, there being a deadline on it. So it's fine. We've got hundreds of blankets around the house, I can tell you, especially now I've made lots of baby ones. So I think that's me for today. Can't believe I managed to talk for nearly 40 minutes when I only recorded last week, but that's good. So episode 40 done. I will probably see you in a couple of weeks' time, hopefully, if I'm up to it, once I finished work. Hopefully I'll have some things to show you. I'll try and get a lot done in the next couple of days before I go back. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoy the sunshine coming out. Hopefully it is where you are. And have a good time, and I will see you in a few weeks. Take care. Bye.